First of all, just so I don't get any abusive hate comments, this is not a professional review. It's not trying to be professional, it's literally just my opinion on these films. Second of all, I've only had one coffee this morning, so if I sound really tired or look really tired, it's fine, it's just I haven't had much caffeine. Anyway, enough of my bullshit. Now this film is already really popular, so there's probably not much point in me actually doing this video. There are already loads of reviews of it on YouTube, but I really enjoy using this film. It is my most used colour film, and I'm just going to go through some sort of portraits and other shots I've taken with it. So this shoot is a shoot I did in a town called Lavadieu in France, which is supposed to be like some fancy, like one of the most pretty villages in France or something like that. I don't really know where they get those facts from. So these are taken on this Mamiya RB67, and these are only lomography scans, so they're quite poor quality. First thing I notice about the film is its kind of yellow warm tone, which, as it says on the packet, is great for skin tones, and it's true, it is amazing for skin tones. The reviews from my models or clients have always been positive when using this film. This one I forgot to, I left the aperture on wide open, basically 3.8, accidentally, and I metered for like, I don't know, f10 or something like that. So it came out really overexposed, which is normal. But this film it's colour negative film, so as usual it has a really wide latency. It is overexposed. I do expose this film every time at 100 ISO, which doesn't overexpose it. It just gives it a kind of bright feeling. I think this film should generally be shot at 100 ISO. I think 160 is too fast and doesn't let enough light in. Why this film absolutely excelled on this shoot is because it matches the colours really well. For example, the buildings, when the sun shines on the buildings, it gives this bright yellow glow, and that's what the film really brings out. In terms of quality, the scans aren't actually that bad, I suppose, but you could scan this film, especially 120, in the highest quality possible on a hired scanner or whatever, and then make digital prints. It's a really high quality film. I've never shot it on 35mm film, so I don't know if there's maybe a difference between them. Probably not that much. I just really think 120 is my kind of medium. I love the shallow depth of field you can get while still having the subject in focus. When you're not shooting something that has a kind of yellow tone to it, for example this photo where nearly everything is green, it can look a little bit cold, and I've got some more examples of that to show in a minute. But on the model himself, and I'll put a link to his Instagram if you want to check out more photos of him, the film's given him a really nice skin tone, and the lighting itself in this shot was great. It's just the sun bouncing off of the wall and came perfectly on his face. This next shoot are photos of a friend of mine, and these are taken on a heath at sunset in Surrey in England. The light that the sun gave was really nice this day. It was kind of autumn getting onto winter, so this was like 3-4 p.m. and the sun was setting. This one I didn't have an assistant, and I had to get him to hold the reflector, which meant that because of the length of his arms, he couldn't hold the reflector far away enough to kind of get a subtle glow. So it is way too harsh, but this photo does give an idea of the kind of sharpness you can get from the film and the lack of grain. Again, this one has quite a cold tone. I actually printed 2 of these images in the darkroom by myself. I have no idea if you can see this or not. This is another image where there was a tiny ray of sunlight that just came through and he stood right in it. And this is the previous image we were talking about. This one has loads of sun flare on it, I forgot to call that. But I added it in because of the colours that were reproduced by it. These are all unedited, by the way. It's not an amazing picture. You can see he's kind of standing a bit awkwardly because it's on a hill. But for the purposes of kind of showing what the film's like, there are really bright highlights in the back, the sky I mean, which on a digital camera would just come out white. Whereas with this film it's come out in the photo really well. And there's a kind of pink and green kind of like dual tint to the photo that just came out just like that. I guess that's maybe something to do with the sun shining directly on the lens. There will be a time and a place for that kind of for those kind of colours. So these are kind of the final photos I'm going to show you. This is the first roll of Portra I ever shot. This is also one of the first times using the Mamiya, and I somehow, every roll, somehow managed to double expose the first or last shot. These scans again are from lomography. I've stopped using them now. I've done a review video on them, but anyway, that's a different thing. But again, this was sunset, and you can see just how beautiful colours are from it. Again, you can see the kind of sharpness you can achieve with this film. Yes, it has something to do with the Mamiya lens, but it wouldn't be like that if I was using a different film. Because it was the first time using my camera, as you probably saw, I do tape it up. There are light leaks in this. I didn't know that. It was the first time using it. That's what you get for buying on eBay. In this image, I wanted to really get the whites in the flowers to glow. I didn't quite achieve that, but I managed to get her skin to glow. Because I'm shooting at 100 ISO, not 160, it does kind of almost overexpose her skin and make it look a bit white. She's not actually pale, it's just for that reason. Maybe think about that if you're shooting for a model or client. They're probably not going to find pale skin attractive on themselves. And then I took a macro, and yeah, the white did glow from the flowers. So that's it. Again, I'm not labeling this as a professional review. This is literally my opinion. If you listen to my monotonous voice all the way to the end of this video, kudos to you. Thanks for watching, and maybe see you in another video.